Welcome back to the channel, Coin Lovers. In today's video, we're exploring the 6 most valuable and expensive United States wheat pennies. These coins may look small, but their stories, rarity, and demand in today's market make them treasures worth far more than a single cent. By the end of this video, you'll know which wheat pennies collectors chase the hardest, why they're so valuable, and what kind of real dollar prices they can bring today. First up, we're exploring the most valuable and expensive United States rare 1953 wheat penny with the Denver D mint mark. Is one of those fascinating coins that often surprises collectors with its value and historical significance, even in less than perfect states. While most people would overlook a coin in very dirty or heavily worn condition, the truth is that certain issues, like the 1953 D, still carry strong numismatic appeal. Collectors recognize that every coin tells a story, and when that story comes from a mid-20th century piece struck in Denver, the combination of history, minting circumstances, and rarity can elevate even a humble-looking penny into something worth attention. The 1953 D wheat penny in very dirty condition may not appear impressive at first glance, but beneath the grime, and where lies a piece of American history tied to a specific era of resilience and growth in the United States. To understand why the 1953 D holds value, we must start with its historical background. The early 1950s were a period of post-war expansion in America. The Korean War had recently ended, industries were booming, and millions of coins were being struck to keep up with a rapidly growing economy. At the Denver Mint, production was strong in 1953, with hundreds of millions of wheat pennies struck for circulation. These coins were part of everyday life, used in small purchases and constantly changing hands in a bustling post-war economy. The wheat penny design, still popular at the time, symbolized tradition and continuity, carrying the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln that had already been on the cent for over 4 decades. The design of the 1953 D wheat penny is as iconic as any in the Lincoln cent series. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's bust, designed by Victor David Brenner, dominates the coin. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1953 with the D mint mark just below to the right. The reverse shows the beloved wheat ears flanking the denomination 1 cent, along with United States of America and the motto, E pluribus unum. Even on very dirty coins, these details often remain visible, a testament to the durability of the design. Collectors often clean or conserve coins improperly, but serious numismatists prefer them untouched, even when dirty, because the original surface can still reveal important clues about authenticity, or patterns, and sometimes rare errors. Condition always plays a critical role in value, and the phrase "very dirty condition" might sound like a drawback. Yet, collectors know that rarity and demand often outweigh appearances. Many 1953 D pennies circulated for decades, accumulating grime, wear, and discoloration. While a dirty example will not compete with bright red mint state coins in price, it can still attract interest, especially if the coin is free from deep scratches, corrosion, or severe damage. The charm of a dirty coin lies in its authenticity. It passed through countless hands, perhaps across generations, before arriving in a collection today. This human connection adds intangible value that strict grading cannot measure. Another factor that makes the 1953 D wheat penny interesting is the Denver Mint's role in the coinage system. Denver was one of the most productive mints in the mid-20th century, known for producing coins with strong strikes and high numbers. Yet, even with a high mintage, survival rates in collectible condition are lower than most assume. Coins were heavily used, stored poorly, or discarded. As a result, even dirty coins today represent survivors of a time long past. For those building complete Lincoln cent collections, filling the 1953 D slot matters regardless of condition, making these coins sellable and desirable in the marketplace. In terms of market value, the 1953 D wheat penny in very dirty condition naturally brings lower prices than pristine examples, but it remains collectible. While average circulated examples in poor to good condition may only trade for modest amounts, the intrigue around dirty coins lies in their potential hidden qualities. Sometimes beneath the dirt are stronger details than expected, or even mint errors such as doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes, which can dramatically raise value. Without cleaning, however, determining these traits can be challenging. Still, even an unattractive example often sells above face value because collectors recognize its role in the broader wheat cent series. For collectors considering a 1953 D in very dirty condition, there are a few important tips. The 1953 D wheat penny in very dirty condition remains far more than a piece of copper with wear and grime. It is a relic from America's post-war years, struck at the Denver Mint during an era of growth and prosperity. Its design connects us to Lincoln's enduring legacy and Brenner's timeless artistry. While not commanding the astronomical prices of key-date rarities, it still carries collector demand because it fills an essential role in wheat cent sets and sometimes hides valuable traits beneath its surface. Whether kept for history, studied for potential errors, or simply appreciated as a survivor of mid-century circulation, the 1953 D wheat penny has a place in American numismatic heritage and continues to be a coin worth knowing about, even when time and use have left it dirty. And secondly, we're diving deep into the most valuable and rare, the 1955 Lincoln wheat penny with the Denver D mint mark, a coin that is far more than just a piece of dirty, old change. At first glance, a common 1955 D penny in very dirty condition might not seem like anything special, but that's where the magic of numismatics comes into play. This particular coin is highly collectible not because of a dramatic mint error like its famous cousin, the 1955 doubled die, but because of its sheer scarcity in any condition better than heavily worn. The Denver Mint produced a staggering number of pennies that year, over 563 million, but the vast majority were released into circulation and spent, saved, and spent again for decades, leading to extreme wear. Finding one that avoided being lost, melted, or simply worn into a smooth disc is a genuine challenge, making any 1955 D, even a dirty one, a coin that commands attention from series specialists trying to complete their sets. To understand why this coin is so elusive, we have to look back at the historical context of its minting. The year 1955 was a period of post-war economic boom in the United States. The coinage system was still robust, but there was a growing awareness of the rising cost of metal and production. The Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, pumping out coins for a growing nation. However, the coins from this era, especially the copper pennies, were meant for commerce, not for collectors to save in pristine condition. They entered the economy and circulated extensively. Furthermore, the composition of these coins, 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, made them targets for mass melting in later years when the price of copper skyrocketed, pulling countless coins, including 1955 D cents, out of existence forever. The design of the 1955 D cent is the classic Victor David Brenner design that graced the series from 1909 through 1958. The obverse features the beloved profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that was revolutionary for its time as it was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. On the left side of his bust, you'll find the word Liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," runs along the top. The date, 1955, is situated to the right of his shoulder. The reverse is the iconic 2 wheat ears, symbolizing the nation's agricultural strength, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the national motto, E Pluribus Unum. The small D mint mark, indicating its Denver origin, is located just below the date on the obverse side. On a very dirty coin, identifying these features clearly is the first step to authentication. When we talk about the rarity and survival rate of the 1955 D Lincoln cent, the numbers are truly astonishing from a modern collector's perspective. While the mintage was high, the survival rate in even moderately worn condition is shockingly low. It is estimated that for every million coins struck, perhaps only a few hundred were consciously set aside in original condition by collectors or dealers of the era. The rest entered the brutal environment of pocket change. A coin described as very dirty is almost certainly in a lower grade, likely fair or good, meaning it has seen extensive circulation with most major features worn flat, but still identifiable. In such a worn state, they are available, but finding one with clear details, a legible date, and a visible mint mark is still a minor victory for a hunter searching through bulk pennies. The demand for this coin is driven almost entirely by series collectors who are assembling date and mint mark sets of Lincoln wheat cents. For these dedicated individuals, the 1955 D is a notorious key date, or, more accurately, a semi-key date, particularly in grades above very fine. Its difficulty stems from the fact that it is one of the last issues of the series before the switch to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959, and it is consistently one of the hardest coins to find in nice, problem-free condition for its era. It stands out in the wheat penny series not for a flashy error, but for its stubborn absence from high-grade rolls and collections, creating a persistent and frustrating demand that keeps its value strong relative to other common dates from the 1950s. So, what is the market value for a 1955 D wheat penny in very dirty condition? In today's market, a coin that is well-worn, dirty, but with all major features like the date and mint mark clearly visible, what we would call a good G4 to very good VG8 grade, can still carry a small premium over its melt value. You could expect a value in the range of 10 to 25 cents. While that may not sound like much, it represents a 10x to 25x increase over its face value, which is significant for a common date coin in that state. However, the value climbs dramatically with grade. A coin in extremely fine condition can be worth several dollars, and uncirculated examples, which are genuinely rare, can command prices from $25 up to $150 or more for pristine, full red specimens certified by a top-tier grading service. For collectors on the hunt for this coin, your strategy should be one of patience and diligence. Focus on condition. Even a dirty coin can be a good placeholder if the details are strong and there are no major gouges or bends. Be wary of cleaning. A coin that is naturally dirty is always preferable to one that has been harshly scrubbed, as cleaning permanently destroys its surface and collector value. Your best bet for finding one is to search through massive volumes of wheat pennies obtained from bankrolls, inherited collections, or purchased in bulk bags from reputable sources. It's the definition of a needle in a haystack search, but that's what makes the eventual find so rewarding. If you do come across one that looks to be in exceptional, unworn condition, seriously consider having it professionally graded by NGC or PCGS to encapsulate its value and authenticity. The 1955 D wheat penny embodies a specific kind of numismatic thrill. It's not the million-dollar rarity, but it's a coin whose story is written in its wear and its grime. Its importance lies in its role as a cornerstone for a complete Lincoln wheat cent collection. Its appeal rooted in the challenge it presents to both new collectors and seasoned veterans alike. Finding any 1955 D is a reminder of a bygone era of American coinage, and securing one, even a very dirty one, is a small but meaningful victory, a tangible piece of history that passed through the hands of millions. And thirdly, we're diving into the fascinating story of one of the most talked about coins in the wheat penny series, the most expensive and valuable United States rare 1940 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark. At first glance, a penny from 1940 in dirty or heavily circulated condition might not seem like much, but when you peel back the layers of its history, design, and collector demand, you'll see why this coin has captured so much attention. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned numismatist, this coin has a tale worth exploring. And in this video, we'll unpack every detail about why it's considered valuable and how it can still be a treasure even when it shows its age. The year 1940 was a period of great change in America, sitting right at the edge of World War II. The Lincoln wheat penny was already an established part of U.S. coinage, first introduced in 1909, and by 1940 it had been circulating for more than 3 decades. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced the no-mint mark version of this coin, struck hundreds of millions of these pennies, but the historical context gives this coin a depth that goes beyond sheer numbers. With the looming war, economic uncertainty, and the nation transitioning into an industrial wartime economy, the coins minted during this era carry the spirit of resilience and change. The 1940 wheat penny serves as a small but important window into that critical period in American history. When you look at the design of the 1940 wheat penny, you'll notice the classic features that made this series iconic. On the obverse, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, stands proud and detailed even on worn examples. Above Lincoln's head, the motto, "In God We Trust," can be seen, with liberty and the date 1940 flanking the portrait. The reverse showcases the legendary wheat stalks, symbols of prosperity and growth, with 1 cent boldly at the center, United States of America below, and the motto, E pluribus unum, arching at the top. Even in dirty or circulated condition, these design elements often hold up, reminding collectors why the Wheat Penny series is one of the most beloved in American numismatics. Rarity often comes not just from low mintages, but from survival rates. And that's exactly where the 1940 no-mint mark penny surprises many collectors. While millions were struck, finding examples that have survived the passage of time in pristine or even decent condition can be challenging. Many were heavily circulated, exposed to dirt, grime, and the everyday wear of commerce. Coins in dirty or damaged condition often tell a story of decades of use. But it also means that uncirculated or high-grade versions are significantly scarcer and much more desirable. This survival challenge is what keeps interest in the coin alive, even among examples that may not appear visually impressive at first glance. Collector demand for the 1940 Wheat Penny remains steady, and for good reason. It represents a pre-war era of minting, carries the universally admired Lincoln portrait, and is part of a series that nearly every U.S. collector has encountered at some point. What makes the 1940 penny stand out is that it's a common date with uncommon appeal, one that almost every collector wants to own in higher grades, yet still accessible to new hobbyists through lower-grade examples. The combination of history, design, and collectability ensures this coin will always be part of the Wheat Penny conversation, and that makes it far more significant than its face value suggests. Now let's talk numbers, because market value is where many collectors focus their attention. In very dirty or heavily circulated condition, a 1940 no-mint mark Wheat Penny usually sells for around 10 to 25 cents, showing how even the most modest condition coins still exceed face value. However, as condition improves, the value increases dramatically. Examples in extremely fine condition might bring in $2 to $3, while coins graded mint state, especially those with red luster, can fetch anywhere from $15 to $40. The rarest, high-end certified pieces in pristine red gem condition have been known to sell for over $100. This wide price range shows how condition plays a massive role in determining the true worth of this penny. For collectors looking to add a 1940 Wheat Penny to their collection, there are several tips to keep in mind. First, focus on condition whenever possible. Grading is critical, and learning how to distinguish between brown, and red color designations can make all the difference. Coins with original luster are far more valuable. Second, dirty coins should not be cleaned, as this can permanently damage their surfaces and reduce their value. Instead, leave them as they are, or have them professionally appraised if you think they might be a high-grade find beneath the dirt. Finally, good places to look include coin shops, online auctions, and even inherited collections, since the 1940 penny was so widely circulated that many families still have them tucked away in jars or boxes. Another fascinating point about the 1940 no-mint mark Wheat Penny is how it bridges two different collecting worlds, the accessible and the elite. On one hand, it's a coin that nearly anyone can afford in dirty or circulated condition, making it a perfect entry point for beginners. On the other hand, in high-end mint state with vibrant red luster, it becomes a serious prize commanding strong premiums at auction. This dual identity is part of what gives the 1940 penny enduring charm. It's both a starter coin and a dream coin, depending entirely on the condition in which it's found. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is far more than just an old copper coin. It carries the story of America on the brink of war, showcases one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage, and offers collectors an accessible yet rewarding piece of numismatic history. Its survival in different conditions, from very dirty examples to pristine gems, gives it an appeal that cuts across experience levels in the hobby. Whether you're just starting out or you've been collecting for decades, the 1940 Wheat Penny has a place in your collection. And if you enjoyed learning about this coin, stay tuned, because in our next video we'll uncover another fascinating piece of American history hidden in the world of rare coins. And at the end, we're stepping into the fascinating world of coin collecting to uncover one of the most surprising treasures hiding in plain sight, the 1950 wheat penny with the Denver D mint mark. At first glance, this coin might appear ordinary or even worthless, especially if it's found in dirty, worn condition. But when we dig deeper, this penny reveals a story of scarcity, demand, and value that has made it one of the more sought-after issues of the wheat cent series. Whether discovered in a family change jar, an old collection, or passed down through generations, the 1950 D wheat penny has more to tell than its humble copper face suggests. The year 1950 marked the beginning of a new decade in American history, a period shaped by post-war prosperity and significant social and economic shifts. The Denver Mint was especially active during this time, producing hundreds of millions of coins to meet the demands of a growing population and booming economy. While the Philadelphia Mint led in overall production numbers, the Denver Mint's issues have always attracted collectors for their quality strikes and subtle varieties. In this context, the 1950 D wheat penny was born, carrying the weight of history as the country transitioned into the modern era while still holding on to the beloved wheat reverse design, which was nearing the end of its long run. When examining this coin up close, even beneath the grime of a very dirty example, its design remains one of the most iconic in American numismatics. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse, two sheaves of wheat flank the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America, a symbolic nod to America's agricultural strength during the early 20th century. Above, the motto, E pluribus unum, stretches across, reminding us of the unity of the states. While millions of 1950 D cents were struck, each coin carries these familiar details that continue to captivate collectors. Now, what makes the 1950 D wheat penny rare is not just its mintage, but the survival of high-quality examples. Over time, the majority of these coins entered circulation, where heavy use and exposure to dirt, moisture, and handling wore them down. Even today, many 1950 D pennies surface in heavily circulated and very dirty condition, with details obscured and surfaces dulled. It's the clean, sharp, and well-preserved examples that fetch the highest premiums, creating a divide between common pocket change and truly collectible pieces. Yet, even a dirty coin carries value if it represents an authentic piece of mid-century minting history. Collectors prize the 1950 D for its balance of availability and challenge. It's not the rarest wheat penny by mintage, but it stands out in the series because of its consistent demand and its connection to a transitional period in U.S. coinage. The wheat penny series is beloved for its blend of artistry and history, and the 1950 D occupies a unique niche within that story. It's a coin that newer collectors can still realistically find, but at the same time, it's one that advanced numismatists pursue in top grades because of its scarcity in pristine condition. That dual appeal keeps the 1950 D alive in the numismatic market. When we look at current market values, condition becomes everything. A heavily worn and dirty 1950 D penny may trade for as little as a few cents up to around $1, depending on overall detail and eye appeal. Step into lightly circulated condition, and the value rises into the $2 to $5 range. Uncirculated examples, especially those graded mint state red, can command far higher sums, often in the $20 to $50 range, with exceptional pieces stretching beyond $100 at auction. The spread between a dirty coin and a gem example shows just how much condition drives the market for this issue. For those interested in collecting, the key is to pay close attention to surface quality, luster, and color. Wheat pennies are graded not only on wear, but also on how much of their original red copper shine remains. Collectors distinguish between red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN, designations, with full red examples being the most desirable. Searching through old coin jars, estate sales, and coin shops can still yield these coins, and while dirty examples are more common, patient hunting and careful selection can uncover true gems. Even the dirty pieces tell a story and make excellent placeholders until a finer example is found. As we bring this exploration of the 1950 D wheat penny to a close, it's clear that this coin embodies the balance between accessibility and rarity. It's a coin that bridges generations of collectors, a piece of mid-20th century Americana that still resonates today. Whether held in very dirty condition as a relic of circulation or in brilliant mint state as a showpiece, the 1950 D continues to prove its place among the most collectible wheat pennies of its era. One aspect that often goes unnoticed about the 1950 D wheat penny is the role of minting quality and die usage in shaping its desirability. The Denver Mint in the mid-20th century was known for producing coins with relatively strong strikes, but heavy use of dies meant that many examples show weakness in certain details, such as Lincoln's hairlines or the wheat stalks on the reverse. For collectors, this adds another layer of challenge. Not only must the coin survive in decent condition, but the strike quality itself must meet higher standards to truly stand out. Dirty or heavily circulated coins rarely display these subtleties, yet for specialists, even identifying a coin with a sharp strike under the wear can enhance its appeal. This explains why grading services and expert eyes make such a difference when evaluating the true value of a 1950 D wheat penny. Another important dimension of the 1950 D is its role in completing wheat cent sets. Collectors often pursue the entire series, spanning from 1909 through 1958, and every coin from every mint becomes essential in that journey. The 1950 D may not be the crown jewel in terms of absolute rarity, but its consistent demand arises from this set-building mentality. A dirty coin may serve as a placeholder in a folder, allowing a collector to mark the space and gradually upgrade to finer examples over time. This ongoing process of replacement and upgrading keeps the 1950 D moving through the market, ensuring its liquidity and steady interest. It is this steady cycle, common yet necessary, humble yet collectible, that secures its reputation as one of the enduring treasures of the wheat penny series. And if you thought this coin was intriguing, stay tuned as we move to another standout from the wheat penny series. In our next video, we'll reveal yet another rare issue that has shocked collectors with its unexpected value, proving once again that history, condition, and a little bit of luck can turn the smallest coin into a true treasure.